Hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge back once again with another instalment of my ongoing series Till the Fabled End. Over the last 15 weeks we've looked at all 15 deluxe Fable hardcovers. And so today the homework is Jack of Fabled Deluxe Edition 1. Just to clarify, I am aware that probably by the time this video is coming out that a 16th deluxe edition for Fables has just come out. We will be covering that, but I'm going to try to cover that right at the end because chronologically that was released literally this year, so 10 or 15, about 10 years after Fables finished. So anyway, what we're doing today, as I mentioned at the end of the last video, is Jack of Fables Deluxe Edition Book 1. We're going by Deluxe Edition and not trade paperback, although I believe this contains the first 3 trade paperbacks. Let's have a look at the cover. Let's have a look at the spine. That's the back. And then this covers issues, we'll cover, here we are, issues 1 to 16. So I believe that's the first 3 trades, but I'm not going to talk about the trades very much here. The picture and the cover is okay. This is nowhere near as aesthetically pleasing as the Fables hardcovers, but let's whip off the DJ and let's see what's under that. Well, this is the general blurb. There are men, there are real men, and then there is Jack of Fables. So this is the cover. Now this is a very nice cover, and frankly, in my opinion, this is the best cover on the of the Jack of Fables deluxe editions. That is just really, really, really nice. I really enjoy it. I'll just close that there. Now, if we're looking at this, essentially, it's very well put together. It's got a good binding, good paper. It's a decent, very well built hardcover. So let's have a look at the contents. We've got the usual end pages here. That's that image there. Oh yeah, I forget that happens. That's a slightly stupid bit of the story. And then let's have a look in here. This is issues 1 to 16, as you can see there. And the storyline is the nearly Great Escape, Jack Frost, Jack of Hearts, and the Bad Prince. Before I dive into it, I should point out where this sits. So the last time we saw Jack of Fables in Fabletown was at the end of Deluxe Hardcover 3, March of the Wooden Soldiers. At that point, Jack basically storms off at the end. You don't see him at all in Oversized Hardcover 4. And then in Oversized Hardcover 5 of the Fables videos that we've just done, there is a 50-page story at the beginning, I think it's a couple of Fables issues, called Jack Be Nimble, which essentially shows what happened to Jack when he left Fabletown. He goes to Hollywood, he becomes a big star, makes loads of money, loses loads of money, and that is exactly where this series then picks up. We've got an introduction here by Jack. The intros here they're okay, but they're kind of endemic and symptomatic of the problem which is throughout the entire series, which we'll talk about in a moment. So here we have the long hard fall of Hollywood Jack. So this is set after the Jack Be Nimble mini story that is in the 5th deluxe edition of Fables. So it wouldn't be wrong for you to have deluxe edition Fables 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then have this volume. But we'll talk about sequencing throughout these videos. So what do we have here? Essentially it's Jack just being Jack. In this we essentially see Jack being abducted by the Literals. Now again, if you've been following the Fables hardcovers, you'll be aware that we also see the return of Goldilocks, I believe. Yep, here it is, the return of Goldilocks. So, with the little paw print there. So what we see here is the introduction of the Literals, and the Literals are major characters in book 9 of the Fables hardcovers, that being when this Jack of Fables series intersects back with the main Fable series. So that's not a spoiler because we've already covered that, but these are the Literals. The storyline here, the powers, what they do, the way they kind of interact with each other and the characterization thereof is really good. Overall, the story is actually very strong. As in the artwork, as you can see, is very competent. It doesn't have quite the same stylized artwork that Fables has, with the very clear woodcut carving kind of motif and framing. It's more conventional, but very good, very competent. And the story and the writing is very good. That brings me to my criticism of Jack of Fables, generally speaking, and there's 2 criticisms I have here. One, the character of Jack himself is just annoying and irritating. I did a video a while ago talking about why I don't like Harley Quinn, or most of the modern depictions of Harley Quinn. And the same sort of thing holds true here. Jack is he's an annoying hero. He's not just a flawed hero. He's nothing but flaws. He's craven and cowardly and immoral and incompetent, and he lies, and I've got no problem with a character that does all those things as long as they have some kind of redeeming feature in some way, even if it's just one small redeeming feature at some point. He has none. And he's not even a malicious evil character. I'll respect a malicious evil character. I'd happily, read a comic about the Joker or about Two-Face or about some kind of villain. But what I'm not interested in is just reading about an incompetent, annoying, idiotic character that I wouldn't want to spend any time with. If Jack was a real person, I would find him really irritating. Sorry, before I carry on, this is the escape from the literal, and overall, I mean, like I say, the writing of the story is good. It then goes into a two-part story called Jack Frost, where he talks about him and the Ice Queen. And again, this story is perfectly symptomatic of what I'm talking about. He's an annoying, idiotic, frustrating character just to read about. He's a bit of a dick. That's the only way I can put it. And there's very little about him that you can sympathise with. I'm currently watching a show called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, in which all of the main characters are all horrible people. They're narcissists, they're vain, they're horrible to each other. But at the same time, they're funny and they're people you can relate to some extent. Jack's not, he's just annoying. And that, I think, for me, is one of the major problems I have with the series. The main central protagonist at its core is just unlikable as a character, much like many of the modern depictions of Harley Quinn. So that's a two-part story we have there. It then goes to this, Welcome to Jack of Fables, and it then goes back into Jack being in Vegas. And again, it's him just kind of philandering, being irresponsible, being drunk, having no idea what he's doing. It's not like, oh, he's drunk and he's wasted and he's being a bit of a Lothario, but actually he's an awesome sword fighter, or he's this or he's that or the other. No, he's useless at literally everything, and he's a bit of a coward. So there's just very little to like about him. That said, the story itself is really good and really well put together. And that brings me on to the second thing that I dislike about the series, unfortunately. It has its moments. We can't lie, it has its moments. Apologies for the shadows. It was an overcast day and now the sun's come out. Classic. One of the issues the second issue that I have with this is that the story is very, very metafictional. And by that I mean it is very, very conscious that it is a story, even more so than Fables. Fables is a story about stories, I get that. It's about literary characters come to life. But this, so for example, if you look at this little blurb here, every issue ends with this. A little box narrated in theory by Jack saying things like, I do so many heroic things in the next issue, it's impossible for me to fit them all into this tiny caption. So instead, just look at my hair for a minute. Seriously, isn't it glorious? Can you believe it just comes out of my head like that? How can one man have so many things going for him at once? It just boggles the mind, don't it? It's childish. It's silly. It's adolescent. It's breaking the fourth wall just for the sake of breaking the fourth wall, and that works when you have an intelligent narrator. But when you have an obnoxious narrator lacking self-awareness, that's nonetheless breaking the fourth wall. It's kind of annoying. It keeps on jarring with me as a reader. Lots of shadows. Apologies, everyone. Let's just focus on this part of the screen, yeah? So we've got that. And like I say, the storyline itself, the heart of the storyline is decent. But yeah, this character, I don't know. He's annoying and he's hard to sympathise with. And more than that, even though the story's about fables and it's about literal, so you have this person here, the pathetic fallacy, you have a character called Deus Ex Machina, you have all these sorts of things. They're cool in a very different way, but this fourth wall breaking nonsense that it has, like having the forward written by Jack Horner, for example, and things like that, is just annoying. One of the recurring motifs is this. Can you see this? I'll bring it nearer. So this is the blue ox that hangs out with Paul Bunyan, and essentially there's the occasional page which is framed exactly like this, 6 panels framed like this, text, comedic pause, punchline. And all of these are kind of weird, surrealist pages. They're all non sequitur. They're quite funny, and they're clearly riffing on things like Calvin and Hobbes and Snoopy cartoons and things like that. But ultimately, yeah, I don't quite get like what this is for or what it works. I enjoyed them. I thought they were funny, but they recur a lot. Like there are one or two of them in every single issue, which again kind of makes me feel like they're just padding certain bits out. Anyway, it continues. It's a, as you can see here, it is a just well put together, at least in terms of its physical makeup of the hardcover. It's well put together. The art, the printing, everything is all very solid. So you see what I mean here? 6 panels, line, comedic beat, punchline, and that just happens all the time. And then yeah, got a jack-o'-lantern one-off story here at the end. Essentially every myth or fable or fairy tale with the name Jack is apparently Jack of Fables. And then it's got some extra features here at the back. Jackpot. Okay. Cool. So this was okay. This was a decent read. I'll be honest, if I didn't already have it as a deluxe hardcover, I probably wouldn't have hunted it down for my collection. I don't know, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. I'll think about that more as time goes on. But it's an okay read. If you're a fan of Fables, it's definitely something you should read, if not pick up. And there we have it. Hopefully that was useful. If you're one of my 1 or 2 human viewers actually watching this series, I will catch you next time where we'll be looking at Deluxe Edition, Book 2.
Alright, thanks for watching everybody. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. As always, please follow me on Twitter at @IamThomasJudge, where I will post a daily review of whatever comics I've been reading. You can get an idea of what I'm up to on the channel. And as always, please support the channel by heading over to Amazon.com and checking out my prose novel about superheroes. It's a completely original piece of work. The first episode in it is called Arrivals, and the series as a whole is called No Gods or Kings. You can find an excerpt of that on my website, nogodsorkings.com. Until next time, everybody, stay classy.